Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Wired for Logic podcast. I've got my guest today, Kiambu Dickerson, and he's the owner of the New York Orthopedic Massage, and he has over 2 decades of experience with orthopedic massage. And I'll let you kind of take it away and explain a little bit more about what you guys do and what interested you into getting into the field in the first place.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I was getting to a point in my life where I wanted to do something to help people. And when you go to massage school, they tell you that a lot of people get into it as a second or third career. And I was actually doing a lot of music and going all over the world and doing stuff and working in bars and, nightclubs. And I wanted to change my lifestyle because I was also healthy and I was doing internal martial arts and qigong and doing healthy stuff, but you're out till 4 every night. So I looked into going either to acupuncture or there's two things. There's a OMD at the time, OMD, Oriental Medicine Doctor, Dio. I'm going to mess up the letters, but it was either acupuncture program and Oriental medicine or massage. And I always thought
Okay.
massage was like, if you could heal someone with your hands, it was like the ultimate high level thing. So I went for massage. Also, I was looking for a trade. I wasn't fooling myself. I wanted to kind of get a job where I could work anywhere all over I had already been traveling all over the world. So I figured, let me do something I could go anywhere and do anything with. And it just kind of organically unfolded, getting into the deeper layers of the body. And I had really good teachers and they kind of, they all encouraged me. And I got really into trying to figure out this idea of why something comes back, which is what plagues everyone, doesn't matter what you do. I've studied with Rolfers, osteopaths, physical therapists, traditional body workers, movement specialists, more emotional, somatic, neuro people. Everyone's trying to do the same thing, and it's all on the human. So I respect everyone trying to help, and I just kept getting information from people who wanted to give it to me. And I kind of, this is an analogy I used. I don't know if anyone plays Trivial Pursuit anymore. I'm giving my age, but there's these little pieces of the pie, these little triangles,
Yep.
right?
I
And you
remember
get
that.
a little piece for knowing social studies or history or trivia, blah, blah, blah. In my body work experience, I kind of got more well-rounded because I was always open and held space for people instead of being like, oh, your stuff doesn't work, your stuff, because everybody's stuff works to a degree, and we're all trying to get there. So I was just, I worked at spas. I got recruited. I had good hands. So I worked at some pretty cool places. And then I just started working for myself with one friend of mine. We started a business and then she moved on and I kept going. And so that's where New York Orthopedic Massage came from. It's mostly the name is because I treat orthopedic conditions. I tried to make it something that would make sense on some level across the board, even though I use a lot of different techniques, and people in body work are usually known for a technique. And I have certain people who've come to me for certain teachers I've studied with techniques. But ultimately, we're all just trying to make people get out of pain, move better, and optimize this human condition. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun struggles and a lot of amazing light switches and light bulbs and
Yeah.
evolutions.
What kind of injuries do you typically see in your clients that you're trying to like lower back or hip
Oh,
and
yeah.
leg or
Number one is probably lower back. Number two is the neck. But once you understand the body and on a deeper level, you understand how it interacts with itself, with gravity. You realize a lot of it has to do with core things. The neck is part of this skeleton. So, if we were on all fours, we'd have a different distribution of weight, but we're standing up and we have this head standing on this pole, like, the Chinese plate spinners. And it becomes an issue for a lot of people. They can't, whether it's forward or back or left or this kind of thing where you're like, your head is kind of cocked to the side,
yeah.
it becomes an issue. The head and people have foot issues or this and that, and there's traumatic things. The neck gets beat up a lot. And also with all this tech neck stuff, no one does this. Everyone does this. And
Yep.
where I am, people are on the subway or the bus and everyone's here I don't know if people don't want to think that they're being looked at, they're recording people or whatever, but this is the healthiest thing you can do. This is so bad. So
So
bad.
bad. My oldest son is horrible about that. And I catch him doing it, and he's 20, so he hardly listens to me about any, I don't know anything about anything. Like, I haven't been through life or whatnot. And I was like, Logan, you need to stop doing that because you're going to end up getting really bad tech neck. He's horrible. It's like full on, like looking
Yeah.
down the entire time. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not
No,
good for
these
you, man.
days it's exponential the amount of time we spent, I mean, I'm in my early young 50s now, but we didn't have all this stuff. Like, even if we read a book, you'd hurt your neck and you'd be like, this hurts, and you'd sit up. But now there's just hours of cumulative damage. And my teacher has a great poster that he found on the internet, and it said spinal damage is 0 miles per hour. And it's a guy sitting at a desk on a computer like this.
Hunched over. Yep.
So the constant is gravity.
Yep.
Whether you're awake, whether you sleep, 14 and a half pounds of pressure per square inch on your body, always pulling you to the grave.
That's true. I have a standing desk. I use it occasionally. I don't use it as often as I probably should, but it's good to kind of get up, sit down, get up, sit down. That way you have some movement and you're not just sitting all day long. Also have my monitors on a stand so they're level in front of me and I'm not craning up or looking down. I mean, all of that posture stuff, it's over time, repeatedly, day in and day out, bad posture, it's going to lead to issues long term.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
then
I
see
definitely
me.
agree with that. What do you do to try to correct that? I mean, you try to counsel with the client, or, I mean, obviously you can massage them for that hour or two, but
Oh, then they get up. So that's been one of the big things. So I think it's just because of the encouragement I kind of had as a child to be a detective and figure things out. I mean, my dad was old school. He'd be like, just figure it out. And then I'd ask a question. He'd say, think about it and then come to me and tell me, and then I'll help you out. I don't want to just give you the answer.
yep.
So I have this thing where I can kind of just hold space for things for a long amount of time. And this idea of, and I tell people all the time, yes, you can go get an adjustment. You can go get a massage. You can get cupping. You can do 1,000 things. In the moment, you're pushing the blood around, which is going to be healing. It's going to be amazing. But as soon as you get up to go move in space, your body goes back into its automatic nervous system pattern. And so this is stuff I learned. I mean, I've been doing this 25 years now, I think. And it's been the past 10 years that I've really gotten into this stuff and started to understand the how and the why. And it all goes back to the brain, the nervous system, and
Right.
how the body actually works. So yeah, you can do a lot. So I do some really cool stuff, but it takes a lot. So I do some amazing nervous system work that breaks these patterns that hold you in these positions. Where
Okay.
for I used to do this is so back to my idea of everything's valid. So I'll give you a perfect example of some postural stuff. So you have someone who's bent to the side and like this, and they don't really know it. So the fascia people, the body work people, the physical therapists in this model will say, this is tight, this is weak. We need to stretch this, we need to strengthen this. It makes sense. You can do that a lot and roll this out and strengthen this every day. And these are a lot of people. They do this every day as a routine because it's part of their life. And it comes back. And the question is why? We're stretching this, we're strengthening this. And it's because the nervous system is dictating how we hold our body. So I reset the patterns. I break that patterning on the nervous system level. Depends on how long you've been around. Older people, it takes a little longer. Depends on the level of trauma your body has incurred, whether it's sustained or short term. And again, this is the thing about trauma. It can be environmental. You can have mold in the walls. You can get hit by a car. You can be eating the wrong foods. Your body will respond the same way. Muscles will turn off and other muscles will be spastic and your organs will react improperly. So when we do the nervous system work, it breaks this kind of freeze, white noise pattern in the nervous system. And then I teach people how to reset the automatic systems that we have. Like children automatically move, most children automatically move well, and they acquire these patterns through trauma. And it's nature and nurture. We look like our parents because we walk like them and we eat like them and things like that.
Right.
Is very much, that's why the work I do is very comprehensive, because it's not that simple. Because if it was that simple, then everyone would have it and we wouldn't have any issues. So you have to work on the neurological level. You have to work on the fascial level where things are actually tight, because if your body holds you like this for a long time, tissues will tighten up in certain areas, and there will be inflammation and edema, and things won't flow properly. And then the motor control of the brain gets altered. So you actually can't move certain ways because you haven't done it. So move it or lose it, use it or lose it is real.
Right.
And then what I do after that is the movement stuff. So I teach people how to move and wake up those patterns in a dynamic system. And there's other stuff. There can be other things have to do with primitive reflexes. So my whole thing is resetting people's reflexes. The body heals itself. Even if you need heart surgery, you get heart surgery, they'll cut your heart, take it out, put a new one in. Why does it work? Because your body heals itself. I mean,
Yep.
Thank you, surgeons. That's what I mean. Everyone gets their credit, but it's ultimately the body healing itself. So if you can reset that initial spark, you can optimize to levels that you wouldn't believe. I mean, I have people in their 70s and 80s out of this lady I saw today who has scoliosis in her 80s. She's talked about the pain on her left side that she completely forgot about, that's gone. And she's talking about her back sits on she's like, it's crazy because there's a different reality when you just don't feel the pain,
That's true.
I can't, it doesn't interact. And, so it changes people's lives when you can really get it. So whoever can get it, great. I mean, I've figured some stuff out that's really been amazing for a lot of people. And that's what keeps me going, is being gratified by the work actually working.
Right.
Because a lot of time into this, and I've been frustrated. I've lost clients trying to go down certain roads. Like, this is it. And I'm like, ooh, that really wasn't it. But you got to do it and trust yourself and keep going.
Yeah, at least try it. So what, like out of your clients that you worked with, what were some of the more difficult ones to reset or repair the damage? And were you able to?
So this is the other weird kind of X factor, is sometimes you do something with someone and they're just like, you cured me. And you're like, really? Like, what did I do? And then you do the same work with someone 20 times and they still have an issue. So sometimes, I mean, that's the goal, is to work on those metrics so you can have improved efficacy and you can repeat that throughout
Right.
your population, whether they're young, old, athlete, sedentary, So I've improved some things that tend to work across everyone. But again, there's always, so this is the thing, there's software and there's hardware. I have had issues. Wait, really sorry. This is my daughter's phone. I've got to jump on this really quick. So sorry.
No worries.
Hey, I ignored the first one. Let me call right back. So good stuff. She wants to call in her mom now. Okay. Sorry. My wife's going to go get her and she didn't know that.
No, you're good.
Wait, there it is. Oh, wait, another phone. Mom is coming. Sorry about that.
The children's are important for sure.
Oh yeah. Gotta make sure.
No, that's interesting. So, doing the same thing on somebody with a similar injury and there was little or no effect is what you were saying, or what was the?
Yeah. So sometimes so when it comes to the nervous system stuff, there's a set amount of trauma that the body kind of stores, and at least with my system, and it may take a few hours, but you can get to the end of it. And there's no more like white noise, bad signaling. So pain is a signal. Everything we feel is not even, everything we feel has been projected downwards and out from our brain, from signals it's received. So everything we feel is an outward projection. It's not
Right.
inward. So pain has to do with reaching this spot in the brain called the insula. Until you're not alive, signals are always being shot up the spinal cord from all the receptors about giving information around us. So cold, hot, other receptors, tickle, itch, vibration, different sounds, images, different things can all have an effect on us. So this information comes in usually, and unless it's a really high signal, it gets stopped at a gate. So this whole gate theory, there's spinal cord, there's all these gates up to the brain. So it has to have the right lock and have the right permissions to get all the way up to that spot. So
Okay.
you're going to have your body's always the information is always sub threshold until there's a big owie. Then it goes here, then it comes back down. So it reaches a certain spot in the brain. This white noise is always going on. So certain pains, and how sometimes you'll have a pain here and then it won't be there. And then it'll be on this side and then it'll move. This is all just stuff off in the nervous system. When you reset this, you can deal with purely orthopedic issues, meaning you can stretch joint capsules, ligaments, tendons, fascia, and actually restore posture. You can actually move ribs that have been stuck and feet that are flat, give them arches. You can restore things that are restorable. So
Okay.
some people will be overstretched, certain ligaments will get overstretched. But once you restore the function or put the joint back, I call it sending it home. It has this GPS. The brain registers and goes, oh, now this muscle can work. So there's this give and take. And sometimes it's nervous system in and sometimes it's body out. So if you have something that's so rotated, your scoliotic, your pelvis is so, your sacrum is so rotated on one side, where you have sacral torsion where something is sticking out, that can physically be enough torsion to inhibit the muscle from working too. So that's what I mean. There's give and take, there's hardware, there's software. So you have to look at all of it. The software stuff can be like amazing. I have people who come in who can't lift their arms. And then an hour later, they're like, and I didn't even really do any body work touching them. I did other stuff. So that can be in the system, or a true frozen shoulder. Once you clear the erroneous signaling, you can get the capsule where it's stuck and get it all to drop and get it to move pain free. So
Nice.
yeah, it's
That's
just,
interesting.
yeah.
I know a lot of times, like my right hip bothers me, and it's helpful for me to go in and see the chiropractor. They're able to make an adjustment, and I can
Mhm.
feel, because you're talking about with the muscle and stuff like that. They'll have me like lift one leg, and the left leg I can lift all the way up, like no problem whatsoever.
Yep.
I go to lift the right leg, and I can only get it like barely
Yep.
a little bit up.
Yep.
And then they do the adjustment, and then it's like, okay, lift the leg again. And it's like just all the way up, like
Yep.
nothing, when it was a struggle before. So it's crazy to all those joints and that alignment and everything is
Yep.
crucial to the body for it to function correctly. Otherwise, it's straining to get movement one way or the other. So very interesting.
Yeah. That's why you can't really look down your nose at any of the healing professions, and you have to take everything for what it is. Even the woo-woo stuff, man. Some of the woo-woo stuff is amazing. I have a teacher who said this once. His name is Jerry Hesh. He's a doctor of physical therapy in Aurora, Colorado. And he taught me how to reset he has a soft tissue technique for every joint in the body. And my buddy Jay and I went to his house and learned directly from him. And he says, I don't care if someone shakes chicken bones over me. If I get off the table and I feel better, it was a successful treatment. And I never forgot that.
That's so true. That's so true. It's like I'm not so concerned about how I get there as long as I get there. The end result is the important thing. So
Exactly.
I've been seeing there's a Massage Heights that's a couple doors down from our office. I've been seeing
Mhm.
a massage therapist there for, shoot, probably like 12 years. Built up a good friendship with her. She helped us get in with them initially when we were first trying to get them as a client with my IT company. So
Mhm.
that's a separate entity. But the interesting thing is I've slowly increased my frequency of going there, and it's been helpful. But I have that in combination with, I also go to Stretch Zone, because
Uh-huh.
the muscles shortening from sitting for long periods of time and lots of driving and things like that, as well as going to see the chiropractor. So I think there's a lot of value in doing multiple things. Like you mentioned, they have
Yeah.
different effects on the body. Do you interact with other, like, people in those other areas, like send a client like, okay, let me finish the massage here, then I recommend you go see X, Y, or Z to help with some additional.
A little bit. Have my office is in a chiropractic office. I've been there for a long time. And there's a couple of chiropractors. One has a massage therapist, the other doesn't. So I see some of his people sometimes, usually the tougher cases. They're pretty traditional, good, solid. I get adjusted every once in a while from him, but I do my own stuff, so I feel good. I used to have a bigger, so I just referred someone, a client of mine, to someone I know for some other stuff, but I know, it's funny, I know a few very specialized people. So if I can't help someone out, I'll try and send them to one of these few people, but it's like a handful now. And they're not really in the city. I had a bigger pool of people, but everyone's doing different stuff. So yeah, I have a couple of people who specialize in a few things that I'll send people to, but I used to know a lot more people. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's good to have partners that you can get your clients a little extra help if they need it in a certain area.
Yeah.
Do you, in your massage, whenever my massage therapist over at Massage Heights is out, I'll go, there's a Thai massage place that they actually walk on your back and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I
I
used to
thoroughly
love.
enjoy that because you can get extra
Mhm.
pressure that you normally wouldn't be able to
Mhm.
with traditional techniques. Do you do any of the walking stuff or?
No, when I was in massage school as an elective near the end, they let you take, I did the Eastern track and I did Thai massage.
Mhm.
And actually, no, I had a good friend who did that kind of work, and they had bars and they'd walk on you and
Yep.
stuff. It's all good, man. I love it all. I just got into my work has become it's not so much fun. I mean, I enjoy it. Used to be like, there's a lot more fun, feel good kind of stuff. The stuff I do is super clinical, but people get up and they're like, wow, this doesn't hurt anymore. So I kind of prioritize. I tell people, I joke and say, like 10 hours from now, I'm going to give you the best massage you've ever had in your life. Because I'm like, we have to get through this stuff first.
Right.
Because what I'm saying is ultimately, you can get rid of. This is the thing that pushed me. I always believe that if you have something, you can get rid of it. So if you have pain, you can get rid of it. You don't always have pain. Like if you were ever flexible at all, um, you can gain that back. And if you were never flexible, you can become more flexible. And what I found was I started with the manual work and I tried to push through the body and I gained some space, but I realized it's in the nervous system. So when you reset it, you gain access. It's like when it's very much like software or an email or something where permissions are blocked. I have so many people who have tight hamstrings. They never unlock. They never unlock. And you can get them to unlock. It's just the nervous system. You may have shorter hamstrings physically, but I guarantee if you get the nervous system on board, I mean, people have instances where they meditate and their body gets loose. So if we can access these pathways sometimes, why don't we just find the button and push it? So this idea of needing things more and more, that's one of the things I push on my website is you don't have to roll out every day. You don't have to stretch every day. You really don't. In the optimal state, the human body doesn't need that all the time. It really doesn't. Is it good to stretch? Yes. But ultimately, the question is why? Why are you stretching? Because you're tight. Why are you tight? Because the blood's not flowing. Why is the blood not flowing? You keep following that why. You're not downstream anymore. And you realize, there's something creating that need for the body work. I love touch. I love all these things, but it's like your body's amazing. There was a time when we didn't have pain. There was a time for most people on the planet. There was a time where they could touch their toes or do this, and then something happened and it changed. So
Yep.
this whole idea of old age and all this. If you acquire something, you can get rid of it. I was pre-diabetic at some point from my first kid. Maybe I had two kids. I was eating ice cream, drinking beer, watching movies, staying out, doing this stuff. My doctor said I was pre-diabetic. I was saying, what? I think not me. Next checkup, I was not pre-diabetic. I'm like, no, 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 no. So we can change things. Haven't had any health problems. I got on a stress test. They're like, why are you even on this treadmill? So I believe that the human body can continue to be optimized, and there are ways, and you don't need to be in pain and get massage all the time. I love massage. I wish, I think there's a place for it,
Right.
and it's always in medicine and body work, and therapy, it's what's indicated. So that's what it is. It's the why. And that's what I started with. It's, well, why? So we do cupping, we do scraping, we do massage. It all pushes the blood, makes you feel better. But then it stops. It's the nervous system. Anyway, that's my whole spiel.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So what's been one of the more rewarding like clients that you've worked on that they just came in with all these issues or pain or lack of flexibility or whatever, and then you were able to fix those things either over a short period of time or long period of time that they're so thankful and grateful. Just a cool story maybe that you have.
I've got two. I've got one. This is the best because who doesn't love instant gratification? So I had a woman come in with a cane, and an hour later, she left the session and forgot the cane. I mean, she couldn't walk without the cane. And she left,
Wow.
and he came back, and she said, "Oh, yeah, I had to get my cane." I was like, "You don't need it anymore." She was like, "No, my husband like carved it for me, so I have to bring it home." And then I went out on a lunch break, and she was standing on the corner texting, holding the cane over her shoulder, just like this. So that was great. That was
That's
one
cool.
hour. That was amazing. I've had others, I have long-standing clients who I've helped a lot with deep structural issues. Yeah, most dramatic. I had someone put me in their will. That's pretty dramatic because I helped her so much. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. And again, it's it just the work is about, the human condition. And the more work you do with people, like I don't know any massage therapist who don't study other things and other ways to connect and get in deeper. Like maybe you do crystals, maybe you do Reiki, maybe you do this, but everyone's got more than one thing because it's about connecting deeper. So
Right.
body workers are the front line. Even in the American Medical College, 2017 said for back pain and all these things that they flood the emergency room with, don't do it. First line of defense is your body worker. We're out here trying our best, everyone. So if you have one story like that, I had a story like that in massage school. This pretty much was my biggest and that inspired me. I had a student clinic and I was doing shiatsu and I was late once, and this was my last lateness. I couldn't be late, and I ran in. You're supposed to have the chart beforehand and read their chart, and I did not because I did not want to fail. I ran right in. I did this work, and I centered myself really deeply, and I went through the kata, which is the form, and work on the meridian, the channels, and I left. And the notes, the teacher afterwards, he was not happy when I rolled in because he was like, "You cannot be." By the end, he was like, "Come here." I was like, what did you do? He's like, did you read what she wrote? I was like, no, no, no. And I read it. Everyone who worked on her before me, she was stiff and didn't move and was kind of frozen. And it turned out she had sexual abuse in her history. And I had no idea. I was just in the zone and I worked it. She was like, this was amazing, blah, 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 blah. So to connect with humans, I think about all the people that I have not helped, and that's what drives me. And I still think about every single person, how far I took them, and I think about how I can help them now, whether they'll come in or not. And I know a lot of them would not come in based on, it's hard. A lot of people, it's hard having chronic pain. It grinds you and emotionally. And even if someone has your best interest and really cares and you like them, if it isn't helping, it's another layer of emotional dysfunction, It's
Right.
like never going to get out of this. So I care about those people, and those are the people who push me. I love the little stories where I broke through, but it's the people who I wish I could still touch and connect with, really keep me going to do the best work I can in the least amount of time for them.
Yeah, it makes sense. What we haven't touched much on technology so far today. What kinds of technology do you use either on the business side of things or in your actual practice with people when you're working with them?
So it's actually interesting because it's don't per se use a lot of technology, but
You're like my cell phone. That's the only technology I use.
yeah, on a day to day, in terms of marketing and stuff like that, I've used some stuff, and I have a guy I've worked with, and I've got a web guy, and I've done some blogging, anything that helps me get information out, and I do need to be better at that, and I do want to do more video stuff and just get more out there. I've thought of using AI to help. So this is the thing. When I did write, I have a ton of blogs, a ton of
Hmm.
information. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. So I have a chat, chipmunk MailChimp guy who I'm going to try and send stuff to refurb it and pump it out to all my clients just to get more looks. But I did use a lot of the AI prompting. So this was pre-Chat GPT. So maybe I would go back through and use more stuff like that. But I did use a lot of that when it came to writing my stuff and helping me to edit. So that in terms of marketing and reaching people, because I can get really wordy and heady and blah, blah, blah. And it's not how you can, it's like the car technician versus, you know, the guy in the shop. Like you don't want to talk to the
Right.
technician because it's not helpful. So I've used it in and it's helped me to be able to present my ideas. Definitely. A lot of the information that I use is also, see, it's interesting. It's not actual machine technology, but it is all very much neuroscience stuff that is novel. So when we do it, it's like hacking the brain. So when my teacher taught it to us, it was very much a software idea.
Right.
And he very much likened the brain to software. So everything I do is kind of with this lens of the computer brain and the hardware body. So I kind of think in those terms, but in terms of using machines and technology, I really just use programs to help me word things or edit things in that way. If I could find ways that would help me to connect to more people, that would be great. Connect with the type of people I want to work with, because I've done some work with some athletes and I want to do more of that stuff. But I'm all for anything that can help. I have seen some of the things I definitely poo poo. Like I saw this Instagram thing with this new robot massager, and there's just no way. There's something about the human hands
Right.
interfacing with another person. It's just, whether it's the polarity, however you want to see it, the opposable thumb, there's something about that. There's a conversation that happens and there's a language. And that's something I've noticed I like animation and all sorts of stuff. A lot of the AI, it's even with the new robots and stuff, I understand biomechanics and they do not understand the human body. There's
Right.
so that's lost. And it has to do with the living component of the body, which is this this fascial system that covers everything in the body. So there's different ways of communicating, and the body's constantly communicating, whether it's through shearing force, vibration, pressure. So this subtlety, I would say, not very few people on the planet, but there's people on the planet who understand that that's something that maybe at some point um, could be used as useful data, but it's so hard to replace that interface, you
Yep.
know?
It's very nuanced. It's not just like put pressure in all these places and call it a day. Yeah, no,
Exactly.
that's interesting. And I hope that people don't lean into that too much, because there's definitely still value to having that. It would be boring to me. It was funny when my wife and I first started dating, I took her to a couples massage
Mhm.
and we got done with the massage and I asked her, I said, "Hey, how'd you enjoy that?" She's like, "Oh, it's horrible." And I says, "Horrible?" It's like, "Yeah, you and Sarah wouldn't shut the hell up. Y'all talked the entire time. I was trying to like doze off and go to sleep and you guys wouldn't stop talking." I was like, "That's what we do. We just talk the entire time." It's like, "Hey, how are the kids? How's work? How's Jeremy? How's Lacey?" Asking all those questions and like, what's new? What's new and exciting? So yeah, we can't get that with a robot. What's the robot going to ask you about? I
Exactly.
mean, I guess you could train it over time, but that's not the same.
No.
Interesting. Well, as we're coming up on time here, kind of wrap it up with some closing thoughts. What do you think, since we haven't touched too much on AI yet, where do you think AI is going? What do you think it could do for you, like to either grow your business, maybe client acquisition, getting out there in front of more people, or what are your thoughts on all that? How AI can help you with that?
That's interesting because I would love to know more. I mean, honestly, the big thing is this data that's being collected. And obviously, you want to use it the right way and connect people with something that they're missing that they would get value from that would help them. So yeah, there's also, a lot of information that people could be connected with. And again, this is the information age. A lot of people are getting good information, for example, at a younger age, right? So I was working today and the chiropractor's daughter was working in the morning and she's in her early 20s. And we started talking about kombucha, and she's like, "Oh, my parents hate it. It's in the fridge and blah, blah, blah." So she's into all this healthy stuff, and she's in her 20s. And I guess some kids are into that, but like this new generation is into all this, like, "Ooh, I want that. Let me do that." And it's not
Yep.
just bad stuff, it's like healthy, positive stuff. And, "Ooh, let's forage for nuts in the park." It's like, we didn't do that, but they're like, "Oh, yeah, you can eat these." So there's so much info that's out there. And it would just be nice to have a way. It's just hard with all the bots and all the scammers, right? To really get the people to where they need to be. People find me usually through word of mouth, or in a, luckily they'll just do a word search and they'll find me and they're like, "Whoa, that was different. That was great." But I do a lot of word of mouth through people. And so it's through trust, it's through recommendation. So when I get a lot of
Right.
people, "Do you even know what I do?" They're like, "Not really, but so and so said you were great." So I'm like, "That's all I needed. Just trust me and let's go together." Uh, because I tell people I'm like the Sherpa, I'm like, "I'm not going to fix you. I'm the Sherpa. I'll carry and get you there. But we'll go through this together. It's going to be work for both of us, but I'll
Yep.
get you." So yeah, I would love for there be, I mean, who doesn't want to be able to connect? That's really what it's all about. I think finding ways, either through the data or through the language, to connect people with services. Because I get a lot of clients who get better fast, and then I don't have people, then I'm full, and then I don't have people. It's like this ebb and flow, which happens everywhere. But if I could constantly, more consistently
Yep.
recruit or get new people, I'm not a maniac. I don't need to be full every single day. I'm not super capitalist. I don't have a set goal I have to make by the end of the year or whatever. So, it, you know,
You're not
and I,
under a quota or anything.
yeah, right. 10,000 backs,
Yeah.
10,000 backs. Oh, so yeah, that's pretty much where I am. If
That's
anything,
interesting.
if it can help connect people and with the services they need, that would be great. Really.
Word of mouth is the way that we grew on the tech side of things for many, many years. And we're now, doing some more proactive things, but word of mouth is powerful. You have that rapport that's already built up because it came from a friend or family member that says, "Hey, you need to go see this guy because he helped me tremendously." That carries a lot of weight, much more so than just seeing an ad pop up on, Instagram or something. But there are other people, if you catch them in the right time, in the right moment, they're looking for somebody. And if you pop up on their social feeds, then you could be right place, right time. Next thing you know,
Yep,
they're booking your services and that sort of thing. So
exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I really appreciate all your time today, and thank you for joining me again on the Wired for Logic podcast. We discuss business, technology, AI. I enjoy hearing about your background, how you help people. I think it's amazing. I enjoy hearing stories about that. Thank you again for your time today, and maybe we can have another future conversation.
Yeah, sure. Let me know.
Okay. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
and you have a
Thanks.
wonderful day.
All right. You too. Take care.